Hey everyone, it's Anne here. Welcome back. Today I wanted to answer a question that I got from one of the viewers here. And the question is, what's the difference between I'm glad to read your message and I'm glad to have read your message? Now, because I don't know the context where the sentence appeared and in what situation, so it's hard for me to give you an accurate answer. But what I'm going to do is to just explain the sentence and in what situation we would use a sentence like this and the meaning of it. Now, the first sentence, I'm glad to read your message, it could have a couple of meanings depending on the context. So the first meaning, it could mean that as the recipient of the message, you are happy to read the message. I'm happy to read the message. And in that case, I would probably just say, oh, I'm happy to read your message. It sounds a little bit more natural. Now, here, the word glad can also have a meaning of like feeling relieved. So if you tell someone, like, oh, I'm glad to read your message, that means that they probably told you something, maybe like a bad news, or they're worried about something and they send you a message sharing the good news with you or sharing a good outcome of the situation with you. Then you could say, oh, I'm glad to read your message. So an example of this might be, let's say your friend has been telling you that there's some health issues going on and they're kind of concerned about their health. But they come back and tell you that after they've done all the exams and checkups and everything, the doctor said everything is fine. So they write you a message telling you that everything's good, everything's fine. So you might respond and say, oh, I'm glad to read your message. Now, if we talk about, I'm glad to have read your message, this means that you, as the reader, as the recipient of this message, you are relieved or you're glad that you saw this message, because if you didn't read the message, something might have happened. An example of this might be, this is kind of a crazy example, but I think you'll get it. Let's say in the morning your friend texted you and said, hey, don't take the subway today because there's an accident and the subway station is closed. Okay, so you might text back and say, I'm glad to have read your message, because if you didn't read the message, you didn't know that the subway station is closed, you were going to go to the subway station and take the subway to work. And if you did, then you might be late, or you might have to find another way to get to work because the subway station is closed. So when we say, I'm glad to have done something, it could mean that if you didn't take action and do this thing, there could be consequences. I hope this helps. I know that I've said many times in my videos, and I'm going to say it again, and that is when you are learning vocabulary, make sure that you're learning them in context, because a lot of times phrases, words could have different meaning depending on the context, depending on the situation. So always learn vocabulary in context. One more vocabulary tip is to always learn new words in chunks or collocations, phrases, rather than single words. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you find this video useful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and tap on that bell icon. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.